to Beach Theory.
Today, we have an exciting episode planned for you guys. Drum roll, please. I'm drum rolling on Becca's leg.
I know. Gonna be roasted. Just kidding.
So yesterday, we talked about all the juicy things.
Oh my goodness.
Of the wedding and honeymoon.
So many juices. Just kidding. That's really gross.
Yeah, it was a hard one to record, I think, but a good one.
Yeah, it was a very good one.
Very educational. So if you missed it,
if you didn't hear it, there was a lot of things
listen.
that were shared that I've actually never even shared with anyone besides Michael before.
That's one of the great things about these podcasts.
Yeah.
Because we're sharing stories that we've never talked to anybody ever about.
But I feel like they might be helpful someday for somebody.
That's the idea. That's the hope.
That's the hope.
So today we're talking about what happens next. What happens after we get married?
What happens next is we have a honeymoon baby.
That's right. You got pregnant.
James was
instantly.
a honeymoon baby.
Literally.
By the way, because
symptoms?
we're talking about, let's see, what makes a baby a little bit. We'll be talking about that.
I don't think we're talking about that.
Well, I want to say something about that. Just FYI, this could be PG-13. I don't know.
It's not going to be PG-13.
Okay, but I did want to say this. The second after...
Are you saying what you're about to say is PG-13?
Yes.
The rest of the episode's fine.
It should be.
It should be.
I guess it just depends on...
So young listeners, close your ears. All right, say it quick.
The second after our honeymoon, Michael went, "Oh no. If you're pregnant, then we can't have sex anymore, right? How do we... Are we allowed to have sex if you're pregnant?" And I just and then we found out that yes, you can, and it's fine.
All right. So to anybody who's wondering, now you know.
He was very worried and like, "I have to take care of you and make sure you're all right. And I don't want to hurt you or anything. Or the baby." So when you were going to Snow College right before we got married, yes, I went to Snow College for 1 year before we were married, and we got married at the very end of that last semester, that second semester.
And in that springtime semester, I signed up to sell security systems.
Yeah.
Over the course of the summer.
There was some security system rep that came to the school
free
and was
pizza.
like, "Hey, free pizza!"
So I went and got free pizza, and I signed up.
Security systems.
I got sold on selling door-to-door sales.
That was a good one.
So actually, it wasn't only me; it was also Andrew. He and I both decided to go sell security systems.
Yes.
And you came along, of course, because we're married at this point.
Because we were married.
And we drove out to Denver, and this was like 2 weeks after we got married. I remember
Yes.
It was very quick after the wedding.
Yes, and for me, I was a small town girl. The big city was Ephraim, Utah, which is not a big city. Just in case you don't know what Ephraim, Utah is like.
So we drove 2 vehicles. We drove a Toyota Corolla, which is my car,
which is very important to the story.
And
for later.
You had a Dodge Neon,
a red Dodge Neon that barely worked.
And Andrew drove his car. I don't remember what kind of car he had.
Probably the Subaru Justy.
I don't know, but we drove all the way to Denver.
Yes,
and it took all day, and we got to our hotel or
and
our
apartment. Found out that Michael's terrifying to follow because he wasn't swerving all over the road, but he was a little bit of a crazy driver at the time. But honestly, I was just scared because I was out of little town Utah and going to the big city, Denver.
And it was pretty quick after we showed up in Denver that you started experiencing the pregnancy symptoms.
Yes. All of a sudden I was like miserably sick.
You were puking every day.
Every day, probably 6 times a day. Enough that I was like, I think I'm dying. And I probably need to go to the doctor as soon as possible. Like I couldn't keep anything down. Anything. Like it was just
But you never did go to the doctor.
I did go to the doctor.
I mean, just like for a regular checkup, right? But not
when I went to the doctor, he was like, "It's normal. Welcome to pregnancy." And he said, only if you literally can't keep a single thing down and you start to lose dramatic amounts of weight is when you need to come and be like hospitalized. And I was not gaining any weight. I think I might have lost some weight at the very, very beginning, but it was so miserable. It was just awful.
Yeah.
And for some reason, great. Now that I've started burping, I can't stop.
Just try it. Okay? Stinking up the room.
No, I'm not. Gross.
You did it on me.
Well, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So cravings and stuff were insane because honestly, if I ever got a craving, it was the only thing that sounded good for me to eat at all. Like, and everything else sounded horrible. So I remember one specific craving that I went to the store and I was looking at everything and I walked past the fish smelling deli and it was just so disgusting and I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw up if I look at that. So I looked somewhere else. I looked at everything and the only thing that looked good was this giant poster that I looked up at of a big beer and it was like foaming over and I was like, oh, that looks so good. And I was like, oh, I can't drink beer. I've never even had beer. That's probably why it sounded good, because nothing else sounded good that I had actually tasted in my lifetime.
Did you imagine the taste of root beer in your mouth?
Well,
when you saw that?
I knew that it was just a different flavor that would surprise me or something that it was
you didn't
just
know
fresh
what it was?
and new.
It was going to be good.
All I knew was that I looked at that and it looked like the most refreshing, delicious, tasty. Oh, and so I went and got a big jug of root beer. And I went home with it and you got mad at me.
I probably did.
Because he
Don't
was
buy
always
soda.
like,
It's bad
what
for
are
you.
you doing? And I was like, I'm starving to death.
Lay off me.
I'm starving. Really, like I was just, it was so miserable. But one interesting fact about that pregnancy and all of my subsequent pregnancies is I don't only crave food, I crave movies with a certain feeling. And like one of them was, especially with James and in the first few months, I don't know what what was wrong with me or why I was feeling so morbid, but I could not get enough Holocaust movies. Like I literally went to the library every day and would rent Holocaust movies and just watch every single one of them. Like it didn't faze me. I craved it. It was weird. And then Michael would come home and be like, what's happening to you, my dear sweet wife? How come you want to watch all these scary movies that are really sad? And I was just like, I don't know why.
You weren't like that. It was more of like I think you were just more interested in like the historical lessons. Like I just remember it being more of an educational pursuit than a craving thing. It definitely was.
But I just craved it.
You were enjoying learning about the history of the Holocaust.
It was weird because I don't normally feel that way. Like it was definitely because
But you go through phases sometimes where you like to learn different things and you just get excited about it.
It's weird though, because on this pregnancy, the first of this pregnancy, all I wanted to watch were real life cop videos on YouTube. And I went through like 5 days of just watching every single one that I could find. Wow. And it was a craving.
Right. And pimple popping. You love that garbage. It's disgusting.
You guys don't know the educational factor.
Nothing educational.
You realize I have to be a mom. I see the most gross things in the entire world, and I'm the one that handles them, not you.
Okay.
So that's a really good point.
When we arrived in Denver, it was funny because your Dodge Neon literally died in the parking lot as we pulled in.
The second we got there. Like I barely followed him there. It was like parked, 5 hours or something.
Like as you pulled into the parking stall, it just like died.
Yep.
And then it was dead and sitting in that same parking stall the entire 3 months we were in Denver.
Was it 3 months we were in Denver?
We were there for 3 months.
Wow.
And you never drove that Dodge the entire time because it was dead.
Nope.
We just drove the Corolla everywhere.
Yep. And that was really frustrating.
And door-to-door sales was really, really hard.
It was so difficult. You barely made any sales.
We'd have like a team meeting in the morning and then go out all day. Yeah, it just barely kept us alive.
Barely for food.
We broke even at the end of the summer.
We didn't though.
technically, okay, so
they called us after and said
you were supposed to sell a certain number of systems
yes.
to get free rent for this summer because they didn't want people just mooching.
Yep.
And I worked my tail off, but I didn't make the minimum number.
No.
And so they're going to charge us for rent. And
they were like, you owe us $3,000 for rent over the summer. And we were like, what? And Michael goes, we don't have that money. And you guys said I didn't have to pay it. If I don't pay this, what's going to happen? And they said, nothing. And he said, okay, bye. Which is typical Michael, actually. He's like, well, if I don't want to do that, what's going to happen? They're just like, nothing.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I remember that. Andrew,
it was very frustrating, though, just because he was working like, what was it, like 70 hours a week? It was so much. You were working so much during that time.
Yeah, I'd leave in the morning and we'd get back right around dark.
Yeah.
Every single day.
It was really hard.
It was hard.
I was at home.
And I couldn't be with you very much because of it. And that was difficult.
And I was not only terrified of the big city, but I was pregnant. And something happened when I got pregnant. And that was, before that, I always had like this feeling of, if anything happens to me, I'll be okay. Like, the worst thing that could happen is that I'll die and then I'll go to heaven and it will be all right. Really, I was not that concerned about a lot of things. I would be very cautious. Like, I wouldn't go out at night by myself, that type of a thing. But, especially at college. But then when I got to Denver and when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, I can't be so careless. It's not just my life to worry about. Like, I need to take care of myself. I need to be really careful, especially if I'm scared here because bad things could happen. Like, I need to protect myself and I need to protect this baby that's in me. And so every single day, the second Michael left, I would lock all the doors and shut all the blinds. And I would just sit in my house like, anything could happen. This is really scary. Now I look back and I'm like, all that time, nothing bad happened. I could have been enjoying myself.
Yep, you should have been.
Except, honestly, I couldn't have been enjoying myself because I was so sick.
Yeah, you're puking all day, every day.
Yeah.
I remember one of the highlights of the experience selling security systems was one. It's a pretty funny story. We were out all day selling alarms, and at the end of the day, I was waiting on the side of the curb for the van to come pick me up. And so I texted the manager or whatever, hey, I'm ready. I'm on the corner of this street and this street. And I waited for the van, and it's the same van every time. I recognize the van from a mile away. And here comes the van around the corner. And I'm like, okay, oh, great, he's here. That was quick. So I get up, and I walk over to the door, and I open the sliding door, and I'm like stepping into the van. And then I realize that that's not my team. That's like a random family. And they were all staring at me like, who are you?
Scary.
And I was just like, sorry. And I shut the door.
Get out of our van, intruder.
It was hilarious.
That is so funny.
Anyway, then finally the team came and I told them the story and they all laughed at me.
Of course they did.
It was great. But another one of the highlights of the whole trip was we had a PlayStation 2. And like dozens of video games. That. And I remember you and I would play video games every night.
Yes. It's funny that you said the highlights of the trip because we literally lived there for 3 months.
Yeah.
But now we take 2-month-long trips. And it's like, it's just such a different world now. Like that was our life.
I just remember playing video games with you with so much fun.
Yeah, you forced me to play video games.
You liked it.
What was the one we played? I remember it was like some quest or something, and we had swords. I don't really remember.
You're talking about like it was like the multiplayer, and we'd run around and hack and slash bad guys and find all the items and stuff.
Do you remember the name of that?
Oh my gosh, I can't even remember it.
So
it was a really
weird.
fun one.
It was fun, but I think I just grew out of video games. Maybe I need to start playing
remember
video
what
games.
it was called.
Something Quest. There's something Quest.
Are you sure?
Like. No.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
You do like it when I play Breath of the Wild, though. You like watching.
I like watching Breath of the Wild. I don't like playing games because I'm not good at playing games. I don't have the coordination for playing video games. Michael has
and it stresses you out too.
The art of coordination in playing video games.
The stress of playing games
I'm
makes
like,
you really scared.
I'm seriously like, and I'm the typical person that turns the controller when I'm trying to like go places or, I fall off all of the cliffs. That's just typical me.
You're fun to watch too.
I bet. Because I'm really bad at it. You're like, this is fun. And I'm like, I'm really stressed out and this is giving me anxiety. You should play and I'll watch you.
I think I worked 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I think I worked every day except for Sunday.
Because we never went out and did things there. Mm-hmm. That was just not something we did.
We didn't do anything fun. I just worked literally every day.
And at that time, in our marriage, I mean, we were literally just a couple months in. What we were dealing with was him working all the time, me being miserably sick and pregnant. And when you're pregnant, your personality almost changes.
Yeah.
And he just was like, he kept saying things like, you're just not who I married, or how come
I don't remember saying any of those things.
You would say stuff like, how come you don't want to have fun with me as much as you used to? Or
I wasn't expecting you to get that sick.
No.
Because my mom had 9 kids. And every time she got pregnant, she was
Superwoman.
She was like really energetic.
Let's remodel the house.
And she got a lot of work done, and she was like just always happy, and she loved being pregnant. So I was really surprised that you were just like sick and sleeping all the time. I'm like, this is not how pregnancy is supposed to be. So here I am
puking over the toilet, and Michael's like, when my mom was pregnant, she would remodel the entire house. And I was just like, get away from me. No, but it was kind of like that. It was just really, really hard because Michael's expectation of what pregnancy was like was completely different with his mom than it was with me. And just so you know, that was the worst pregnancy I've ever had. I have never had a pregnancy that
Every
bad.
Pregnancy's gotten easier since, consecutively, easier upon easier.
Well, I think the last 2 and this one have all been pretty equal.
You puked with Ellie, and you puked with Charlie.
That's true. I did puke with this one.
Once, on accident.
By brushing my teeth and brushing
Gagging
my tongue.
yourself.
I gagged myself.
But that doesn't count. That's not like, I feel nauseous, and now I'm hurling.
Well, I was nauseous. I've just been nauseous all the time.
Right.
Half of the pregnancy.
But with Charlie, you actually puked a few times. And with Ellie, you puked
that's true.
regularly. Corbin was almost daily, and James was many times a day.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's right.
It's just gotten better.
The thing is, he remembers these things better than me because I blocked them from my memory because it's
traumatic.
Traumatic. It was terrifying. It was horrible.
So that was pretty much it. The whole summer is kind of a blur of hard work and sick.
Hard work and sickness.
But we still loved each other.
We had some very hard conversations during that time.
I don't remember fighting or anything.
Well, the thing is, we never really fight.
Right.
We just don't agree sometimes, and we don't yell at each other.
So what was the hard conversation?
So I think the first thing that for me I had to learn was, at one point I was like, okay, these are all the things that bother me about Michael. And
that's a long list.
I literally wrote a list because I was like, I want to communicate really well, and I want to address all of these things that really bother me
and solve them and fix Michael
and fix him. No. But I wanted to communicate. I didn't want it to be like, oh, these things bother me so much and I have no right to say anything about it, and I'll never, like, he'll just always stay the same. Like, it was just.
Do you remember anything on that list?
Oh, that's a really good question. I wonder if it's in my journal somewhere.
Oh.
I should pull up.
I've mastered them all.
I should pull up my list of all of the things that I was bothered by you. No, I'm just kidding.
I snore.
No.
I eat with my mouth open.
Not those things. It was things like.
I leave the toilet seat
up. He was
up.
very, very hard-headed. Just so stubborn.
Oh. Tell about you got so offended when I told you that I can't follow a leader who I could do better than. So that happened on that trip, right?
Yes, it was. That was one of the conversations that I was going to talk about just barely. Like, one of his days off, I think it was probably a Sunday, we were going for a little walk because I never went for a walk without him. And we were both butting heads so much. Before I got pregnant with James, I felt very strong and independent and smart. And it's not that I wasn't after, but it was just sickness really wears on you, and it makes you feel like you can't.
You're just so dependent because you can't even
cope.
function.
And I was having a very hard time being so dependent on him and having him be. Well, we both were having basically the same opinion that, hey, so how did that conversation even come to, like, we were just talking and I was telling him how I didn't agree.
I remember we were going for a walk around the lake, right?
Yes.
Went for a walk. We didn't do that very often.
No.
I don't remember what we were arguing about.
I don't either.
All I remember was we were just talking about this the other day, and that's why it's fresh on my mind.
Yes.
But I told you, and I have a very strong opinion, even to this day.
Yep.
I have a hard time taking instructions or following someone who is a leader over me when I feel like I would do a way better job at whatever the project is.
And
like,
he
I disagree.
Said that to my face. He's
How
like,
rude.
I was like, are you kidding me? You are so stubborn and rude. Like, I was just like, you realize you just said basically that I was a terrible leader and you are not willing to follow me and you can do a better job. And so you're going to be the leader and I'm going to have to follow. And I was like, what? I was so mad.
She's scary when she gets mad. It's a real thing. Like, you're really intimidating when you're.
I can imagine why you get mad at something like that.
He basically was like, you're terrible. I'm the leader now. You don't know anything.
No, okay.
Can we turn off the heater? It's really hot in here. Sorry.
This was 10 years ago, so I think it's fair to say that you don't remember the details of the conversation because I don't think I would have said those things to you.
That was what I
You're
got
terrible,
from it.
and I'm the leader now. I did not say that.
That was what I got from it. Either way.
I probably said something much more sweet and kind, and you just.
Oh no, we were not having a sweet kind conversation. Like, it was a conversation that we were both butting heads, and like I was. The thing is, like.
Were we yelling?
We were not yelling. We don't yell at each other.
So we were just.
We were having a heated debate.
Heated debate.
That's the best way to put our.
No,
fighting.
I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. Okay.
No, yeah, that's how it was.
Okay.
Oh.
Did it come to blows? Did you punch me or anything?
Can we open a window? Sorry, I'm like, I don't want to like faint.
She's getting so riled up about the conversation that it's actually like making her hot.
Of course you don't remember this conversation. I remember this conversation.
I'm getting angry. It's getting hot in here.
We're at a resort right now, and I guess something fell into the bottom.
Holy cow! It's a whiteout blizzard outside right now.
Whiteout, like perfect. Like I almost can't even see the building next to us.
And we're at like 9,000 feet or almost 10,000 feet.
I've had altitude sickness.
10,000 feet. And she's been like, last night she had a little panic attack.
And got. You should hand me that bottle thing right there, the green one. Okay. Last night I was like,
it has no weight to it.
There's no weight to it because it's oxygen.
Well, like my oxygen tank for scuba diving weighs 100 pounds.
This one doesn't. It's not 100
So do you just put it on your face and go like that? That's weird.
For like 1 second. Anyways, I had to get this because I was like, I think I'm going to faint. I think I'm going to puke. I can't breathe. I'm not getting enough oxygen.
Like 2 a.m. I can't catch my breath.
Yeah. And I was just laying there not doing anything. Like no physical activity. I was just like, Michael's like, what are you going to do? Go to the hospital. Leave. Go down to a lower altitude.
It was 2 a.m.
What are you going to do about it?
What do you want me to do?
What you going to do? I'm tired.
I'll give you some of my oxygen. We can do mouth to mouth. That'll help you feel better. Well, at least help me feel better.
I'll suck the life from you.
Anyway, let's get back to the story.
Yes. Oh, and I also sometimes have ADD. But what I was saying earlier is that a spoon got burnt in the dishwasher and it made the whole apartment here smell like
death.
Cancer is what Cody said. He's like, it smells like cancer in here.
So our door's shut. We're not breathing that.
So the door was, or all the windows were open and it got really cold. So we turned on the fireplace. Now it's too hot. So now we're opening up windows again. Anyways.
So I think we're done talking about the fight.
Well,
because I'm
not done.
There was no resolution, right?
The resolution was I was too weak to fight you because I was so sick. And you were like, well, too bad. I'm the leader now.
Yeah, I don't remember saying that.
That's what he said.
Okay. I think that was a good.
That was was really the conclusion.
Example
we came to, though.
of one of the disagreements, and we
Yes.
kind of butted heads on who is in charge in the marriage.
Kind of butt heads. We butted heads.
Because I feel like I have a lot of ambition and drive to do some things, and you're the same way. And sometimes they don't jive.
Yeah.
And it comes down to
I
who
can think of two other
gets
things
the final
that
say.
happened in Denver. One was you thought it was unfair that I didn't have to work. And you would go.
I was a
to
different
work.
person back then.
You were like, that is not fair. And it should be fair, so you should get a job. And I was like,
oh, that's right.
So
and then you're going to start selling
sick.
Cutco. I forgot about that.
I was so sick. And I was like, I guess I had explained to him, hey, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And he's like, well, you're not a mom yet. Go get a job.
I do. You make me sound like the most horrible person. I did not talk like that or say it like that.
But
I'll give you guys the real
how,
story. It was probably something more like this.
He did express
hey,
how he
you're
felt
really
like
bored
it was
at
unfair.
home. You need something to do.
And I'm like,
you might as
You
well
call
maybe
puking bored.
maybe you can go it's a job and make some money. I think it could be really nice to have a little bit extra money, and I think that it give you something to do so you're not bored. Like that's probably how I really said it. But
I love talking about our arguments because we have very different opinions about how they went.
and mine is
that neither of you are right.
You're right. It's probably
Cody
somewhere
knows.
right in the middle.
He's
We're
the
both
moderator.
exaggerating.
he's the referee in these fights.
He's like, nope. Tell the truth, guys.
If only we were filming back then, we would really know.
We would not have filmed.
I don't even think we
then.
took I took a couple pictures from that
in
trip.
Denver, but they were always of people's doors.
People's weird yards. Like I'd be knocking doors and be like, that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
I'm gonna get a picture of that because I think
Yes.
it's cool.
Oh my goodness, how times have changed. Even just
So
looking
you
back.
signed up to sell Cutco.
So I was like,
And you
okay,
did, like-
fine, I'll get a job because that was right before I was getting really sick. Like I wasn't super, super, super deathly ill yet.
Mhm.
So I was like, fine, I'll go, see if I can sell Cutco. So I go and I basically.
You did an appointment with me.
I did an appointment with you
A
trying to sell you
demonstration,
knives.
and I don't think you did any more than that.
I think I did one with Candace. That was another person
She's the one
in
that
our
recruited you.
apartment. Yeah, she
It was
recruited
more of just
me.
like a role play
yeah,
practice.
basically it was
Because
just
you never actually did a real appointment.
and the people there were always like, oh, people come here and they just sign up so they can get the kit for a lot cheaper. And I was like, oh, that's not going to be me. And then I did a fake appointment and that's all I did.
So you got
And
the
I
kit
kept
for a
the
lot
kit.
cheaper. Hey, Cutco's great for the record.
It is so good. I love Cutco.
Love it.
But I do not love selling
Today's
Cutco.
podcast is brought to you by Cutco.
No, it's not. Pay us, please.
Sign up today. No, I actually really. But I'll talk about that in a later
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
because I actually sold Cutco
Later
a lot.
down the road when I referred him.
Because I just wanted to just say it like, okay, so
Yeah.
I had no college education
Yeah.
and I was entrepreneurial and hardworking and I just wanted to do my own thing. And so I did sales of security systems and
Yep.
a few other things.
But
that
what I was
summer
gonna say
security.
is there's a couple things that I think we've gotten off subject and I want to bring it back. Like when I disagreed with you, sometimes I would just start to wrestle you. And
Oh,
you would
those are
fight
good
back
times.
with
Those
me.
are fun.
Like literal wrestling, not like wrestling. But I was mad and he was like he thought it was funny.
That's how I knew. That's where I learned she was really strong.
I was super strong. That was weird. I said it that was
Super
like an
strong.
accent.
That's okay.
Super strong.
I was always stronger.
At
And that would make you
first-
even more mad.
at
I remember
first,
pinning
though,
you on your
listen,
back and having you be like,
stop saying lies.
you'd get fuming, foaming at the mouth. Danger.
I would get very mad.
I know. I remember.
Very mad. But I would wrestle him and I did pin you at least twice. But that was before I was
going
sick.
easy.
No. This is what he always does. He always somehow makes it seem like I won. I was right always.
Don't you love
I won you
me?
twice. Don't you take that away from me.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
And now I can only win him if I'm like super 9 months pregnant and way heavy.
And if I'm like on my deathbed.
I can tickle him pretty good. And he's like, and I have pinned you a few times where you're just like, I can't. And you're laughing so much and you can't do anything about it. So, ha.
That's because she like unleashes the beast and all of her fury.
Sometimes I I do get so mad, but I don't want to be like mad. I just get frustrated and I take it out on him. Like, I'm going to wrestle you. That's what I do.
That's okay. It's fun.
Anyways.
So
wait, and there was something I have to bring back too.
Okay.
I wrote a list of all of the things that bother me about Michael.
I never wrote a list about you.
Well,
for the record.
That's because I don't have things that bother you.
You're perfect. You're an angel.
But I wrote a list because I was like, I want to make sure that we're moving forward and we're progressing, and I don't want to be in an stuck in an unhappy relationship if there's things that really upset me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote these things down.
Bless you.
Thanks. Sorry.
Get on with it.
And
tell me what you wrote down. Or
I can't
the
remember
point.
what I
What's
wrote
the
them
point?
down. Okay, calm yourself, Iago. I put down a whole bunch of things, and I sat Michael down, and I was like, Michael, I'm going to tell you everything that bothers me about you. And I read out every single thing on the list that I had a problem with. And he reacted very naturally, which was, at first, he was open, like with the first couple things, and then he realized this list was really long, and he just turned away from me and started ignoring me, and then he just walked away. He just couldn't handle it. And I was like, why can't he handle it? Why can't he handle all these things that I think are wrong with him? And then I was like, and then later he was like, that bothered me so much that you have so much wrong with me. If you think that there's so much wrong with me, just why did you marry me? Do you even love me? And I was like, whoa, I didn't mean to rip you to shreds, but that's really what I did. I just ripped him to shreds with everything that I thought was imperfect about him. And I learned from that. I took that same list that I had read to him, and I basically I looked at all of the things that really bothered me, and I was like, what is the thing that bothers me the most? What is our biggest issue right now? And then I was like, okay, I can't do that to him because I can't read them all to him because it just shuts him down. Oh, it just shuts him down. So what I'm going to have to do is just take it one thing at a time. The thing that bothers me the most, or the thing that we're struggling with the most, and we'll just talk about that one thing and work through one thing. And we've been doing that ever since, and it's been really good. Yeah. But he does it to me too. Like, I don't think he ever had a list per se.
Well, her imperfections are so few and far between.
Tell me more. Just kidding. Just kidding. But it's just like, ever since then, I think that's the way we've taken challenges or things that bother us, and we've just gone, okay, this is the thing that's bothering me the most. This is the biggest problem. Let's just handle this. You can handle one thing at a time. Anybody can handle one thing at a time. You just have to figure out what thing is bothering you the most and start hashing it out. And it's not pretty. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. Like the things I can't even remember. I feel like this is why we're having this podcast, because we work through things and we struggle and it's difficult, and then we move on and we try to forget about what it's like was. Forgive and forget. But then I'm like, wait, what has gotten me to what has gotten us to where we are today? Like, we can't just forget all these lessons we've learned. Yeah. Like, these are important. And even just
we were both really young and immature when we first got married. Totally. And changed a lot.
I want to tell another thing from our first year of marriage.
Wait, is it from the summer?
Well, it was right after the summer.
Let's save it for the next episode. We need to wrap this one up, but there's one more story I want to tell you guys before we end.
I've been talking a lot, so go ahead.
We were leaving Denver and we were driving home, and we went to go get the neon repaired. So we took it to like a repair guy or whatever. Yeah. And they cost me like $300, which was like all the money I had saved over the summer.
Yep, all of it.
And we drove about 20 miles outside of town, and we were heading into the mountains up I-70 going west. Yep. And then the Dodge Neon died.
It just died.
And it was just me and you. Andrew actually went home halfway through the summer. He didn't make it very long.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
But the car died, and I pulled over behind it.
And both of our cars were just filled with all of our belongings, because we
had all of our things. And so we got out, and I was pushing. And I was pushing the Dodge, trying to get it to the next exit because we were on the freeway, trying to get to the next exit so that we could find another
by himself
place to get it
I
fixed.
was pregnant and there was no way I was going to be pushing that car.
So I was pushing it for maybe 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I felt next to me 2 grown men helping me push.
And I had seen these guys pull over. They had a giant hot tub in the back of their
truck,
big truck and trailer. Like one of those that you, like, I think it's like you run underwater and it's up a high, like it's an exercise hot tub or something. It was really big and nice, but they all pulled over. But
literally, like, I started pushing and then all of a sudden, boom, they were there and they helped me push it all the way to the exit,
they tried to. And then they were like, this is uphill and it's not going anywhere.
We got it to the exit.
They decided to hook it up to their truck.
And pull it?
And then they pulled it to the exit.
Gotcha.
And by that time, we had learned that, number one, they were LDS, or they were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which we were too.
I don't think we found that out until later.
They were wearing a BYU shirt.
Oh, were they?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
And we were like, what?
Well, we're in Denver. We're not in Utah anymore.
It wasn't Utah. You don't see a lot of other members of our church out there. Like, it's not very common.
Not super common to where it would be like every other person. You know, like that's how it is in Utah.
Like most people, like when I went to the Cutco office, they would say like, "Wait, what religion are you?" "Oh, polygamous." Wow. And I'm like, no, not really. We don't do that anymore.
Wow.
That's like,
so, but it was just really cool that the people who came to help us, that were right there at the exact moment that we needed them,
happened to be LDS,
happened to be members of our church,
happened to be willing to help us up the hill, happened to have a tow rope to tow it to the exit, where then we could find out more about them and they could find out more about us and how we needed help.
So we parked the Neon right there, and then we drove the Corolla and followed them to their house.
First, let's explain why we followed them to their house. We didn't
They invited us over and they said, "Hey, we've got this truck. We can tow it."
Yes.
And actually, where are you guys going? Oh, you're going to Ephraim.
Okay, first of all, every single thing that happened from this point on was a miracle. Like, and I'm saying it couldn't have been anything else. It was an absolute miracle from God. So it was just incredible to see all of these things line up perfectly to the point where it was like, there's no denying that was sent from heaven. Like, there's no denying. Yeah,
it was a miracle, blessing, something we couldn't have even hoped for.
So let me explain. They pull over, and we're young. I'm terrified of strangers anywhere outside of Utah because I'm like, oh, what if they're going to kill us? I don't know. And they happen to have like a BYU shirt on, so I know, like, then we talk about, well, what religion are you? And they're like, well, we're LDS. We saw you needed help. So we're like, whoa, you're LDS? We are too. Whew. Like, that's a huge relief, number one. Then they're like, hey, we have a trailer. We could haul your car if you need to go somewhere. Where are you going anyway? And we're like, well, we need to go to Mount Pleasant, Utah. And they're like, really? Tomorrow we are going to Manti for a wedding. And they never go.
That's 500 miles away.
500 miles away.
And they're like, we can just bring your car.
And that's a 30-minute difference. Like, them going to Manti and them going to Mount Pleasant, that's like nothing. It's like a 30. That's 20 minutes.
So they were going exactly where we were going at the exact same time
happened
as us.
To have a trailer to haul a car hauling trailer. They happened to be going the very next day to exactly where we needed to go. And get this, and they had a huge house.
So they invited us to their house to stay the night. And then the next morning we were going to drive back and pick up the car.
That's right.
So that we can drive it to
But she
Utah.
also happened to be a doula, which I was miserable. And I had one appointment at that point with my doctor. And she gave me like what to expect when you're expecting. And she told me all these things to help with my sickness. And she basically gave me a doctor's appointment, which is exactly what I needed right then. Like, and I was so just blown away. Like, they happen to have all these extra rooms in their house. It couldn't have been more heaven sent. Like, there's no way of denying that miracle.
Ever since that time,
and it was a handful of miracles. It wasn't just one miracle. It was all these lining up perfectly to get us home.
And the fact that they came around the corner and saw us pushing that car at the exact moment that we needed it.
Yeah.
If that car had died even
anywhere else,
a minute earlier or a minute later or whatever, they would have been right past us probably. And
they took care of all of our needs. And think about it. We had no money.
Yeah.
We were completely out. We spent the rest of it
trying to fix
the car, and we had just enough to get home and like possibly have some like dollar menu items on the way home. Like it was gonna be so tight and so uncomfortable and so hard. They even bought us dinner at Wendy's. And we were just like, whoa, thank you so much.
I think you threw up in the car while we were driving home the next day.
I'm sure that I did.
Because they drove their truck and pulled the Neon.
Yes.
And you and I drove in the Corolla.
Yes.
And I remember being like, hey, we need to keep up with them. And
I was
you're like, I need to throw up right now.
What?
So I remember giving you a bag and you just puked while we were driving in the car.
It was like,
down the freeway.
Literally, I don't even know what would have happened without that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We would have had to call my family, which at the time, they were not doing well financially either. And that would have been a huge stretch for them to come and pick us up. Like, they couldn't have done that. They had still how many kids at home? Everybody below me.
Yeah.
Steve and Jessica, Amanda, Jared, and Shinway. 5 kids at home.
Probably Andrew and Ryan.
Andrew and Ryan probably still. Jennifer wasn't there anymore. But anyways, it was just one of those things where everything worked out perfectly. And there's no denying where that came from.
Yeah. Pretty cool. That was the summer.
That is one of those stories that has driven us for years to become like that. Like to possibly be able to do something.
Be that person to help other people.
Be that angel. It was like an angel sent from God.
I remember their last name was McQueen. So wherever you are out there.
Dan.
Was it?
Dan McQueen.
No way.
Yeah.
You remember his first name?
Yes.
I just remember
because it was in my phone for a long time and I didn't want to delete it because it was like such a miracle, so special to me.
I just remember McQueen because when we got to his house, he had an entire room that was all decorated and dedicated to Lightning McQueen.
And he had one that was all dedicated to John Deere tractors.
Right. But I just remember that's how I remember his last name was McQueen.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, if you're watching this or listening, thank you.
That has changed. That literally changed our lives. Like just that one day that you helped us out. And now we want to try and do the best that we can to
help others too.
Be that same angel.
Pay it forward.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Next time we're going to talk about college. Going to Snow College, because then I started going to college.
Yep, and I basically stopped. We just traded places.
We took a yoga class together for a little while. Yeah. So make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube if you're watching the video, or if you're following on a podcast service, Apple Podcasts. We're also on Spotify. Do we have any
pictures from that time?
I don't know. Just make sure to follow us.
If we find any, we'll stick them
in. New videos every week.
Yes, you can find
episodes.
Yes. And make sure to watch the videos if you want to see our glaring at each other during this conversation.
There was some tension.
Just kidding.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye.